There are two things that have remained consistent since I was in diapers: fishing and being on camera.
Today I got my niece, Mariko.
I shared the screen with my uncle, my mom, and my dad.
A year ago.
In 2008, I launched my own fishing show called Hookin' Up. This was a journey that reignited my own passion for the world that I was brought into. Now it's time to pass down all the life lessons and share this world of fishing with the next generation. As a mom.
Wow, you know what? That hit home with me. I'm telling you right now, and not because I'm a father of two girls, but you know what? It's actually really cool. It's really cool. It's cool to know and watch a young lady, now a young lady, but at one time a very young girl become a young lady and now a mom, and with her own show to boot. And you know, I want to welcome Mariko Izumi. Are you there, honey? There you
Hi,
go.
guys.
You know, I don't know what it is, but all the years, even now, when I see you, I smile. I don't know why. You bring that on to me. The golf tournament, you know, wherever we go, I see Mariko. Here she comes, and it's like you make me smile. You know,
There's a lot of nostalgia, right, in the Izumi family.
You're a very pleasant person. You know what? I just seen the opening of your show there, and it actually touches home. You know, like it's and I guess is that what the show is presenting to be? Is it something that's more family origin? Is that more what you're trying? Because you got your daughters obviously in it, so your son.
Yeah, I mean, the focus on the show is passing down life lessons through generations. So, and that's something that was done obviously for me through my uncle and my dad. And so it's only natural that we go down to the younger generation, which is my kids, Tiger and Yale.
You know, I've watched those episodes. I've seen where you filled in for people. I've seen where you've done all kinds of great things. So I know you're capable of it. I just want to touch a little bit on your previous show, because Hooking Up with Mariko, that was actually a great show. Everybody loved it, and it was a lot of traveling involved in that show. And will any of that kind of stuff be involved in this? Will you be doing a lot of traveling with this show? Do you see yourself, or is it more Canadian based?
No, it's still just as hardcore, to be honest with you. The focus, in addition to, the way that we are instilling these life lessons is through fishing, but also through travel and adventure. So Yale and Tiger and I actually just returned from Costa Rica filming and fishing. Wow. So we haven't softened the itinerary just because kids are involved. And that's kind of also one of the touching points on the show, is that just because you become a parent, it doesn't mean that you kind of have to stop with the adventurous lifestyle. You can kind of continue going on. You just have to do a lot more planning, is I would say the main difference, and a lot more snacks, but you can still do it. So yeah, we just came back from Costa Rica.
Well, you know what? I can tell you one thing. I really hope that a lot of parents will take this and understand that this is where it starts. You know, when you have good people as adults, and a lot of people watching it, myself as an adult, you know, we came from being a kid, being introduced to the outdoors, and you're doing this through your show. And so you're going to actually be showing how to keep your kids interested and keep them going, types of fish, like.
Yeah. So we're already showing it. It's already, if this is mostly airing in Canada, we're already on global TV on Saturday mornings. So we've already had actually about half the season air so far. And so far we've showcased bass fishing, of course. We have to do that. Walleye fishing. We've showcased sturgeon fishing and salmon fishing. So we do all of it. Yep. And then coming up, we're going to showcase more salmon fishing, winter fishing, which is kind of a nice spin to it. And then the Costa Rica episode. So that's, the thing about Costa Rica is it's like Florida, right? There's just so many species you can go after. So it's so much fun. So we did everything from little panfish that we cooked for dinner, like snapper, to we did proper game fish. I caught a marlin, which was extra exciting. And we caught mahi, and yeah, we saw so much wildlife too, in addition to the fishing. When we were on the water though, we saw huge turtles mating. So I got to see it. I got to experience it, but then also 2-year-old almost Tiger and almost 5-year-old Yale, they got to experience it as well.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, like I love Yale. Like she's like a really I don't know, is it spirited the word, Victoria? What am I looking for? She's a strong kid. And just from the golf tournaments, from the annual golf tournaments your dad puts on, I've watched her grow, and she's a tough girl. Like I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm just saying, but I can see the outdoors. Like I can see her being the outdoors. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And taking this over in a different direction, and her own direction type of deal down the road. But like, it's pretty cool. And those are type of fish that not all kids are privileged to, but yeah, it's something that is good, right? But you still live in Canada, right? You still live in Canada?
Yeah, we live in British
Canada?
Columbia on the West Coast now. I mean, Yale always has. That's where she grew up. Yeah. Same with Tiger. But exactly, she's obviously more privileged in the fishing scene for obvious reasons. So she gets to do every type of fishing. But I mean, more than half the show showcases, more local fishing that anybody can do when they're not working. For us, it's considered work, us Izumis, but for everybody else, when you're not working, you can go out salmon fishing. In fact, salmon fishing in particular has exploded here in BC. I think mostly because of COVID. So people have been trying to find more outdoors activities. So like on the weekends, the river is just slammed. It's really interesting to see because you're seeing all sorts of new anglers come out and they're bringing their families out. So we're showcasing a part of that on the show. And then also we're obviously showcasing slightly more aspirational adventures like Costa Rica, for example. But as far as Yale goes, I mean, we'll see, kids change, but as of now, she's more hardcore than I ever was. I mean, I also think she's going to take up hunting with Papa is my guess. In which case she'll be me times 10 in terms of like an outdoors girl. So it's been very cool to see her grow into that.
I'm really happy you said she's going to be more you than
Oh yeah.
Because I was going to lean that way, but I don't want to insult you because I know you are a hardcore girl. So but the thing is for viewers, even when you're watching the Costa Rica shows or any other shows, and independent, and regardless of the fish, like sometimes as a viewer, as an avid angler myself, you have to take the content of it and apply to all species of fish, because there's always a home base on how you approach fishing and how you take it. And sometimes seeing it from a different angle makes you think of using that same lure differently, and that is a beneficial thing. So you have to look at, and at the same time it's entertainment, because you want to watch that, which I think is really, really cool. So I know, is your husband still a guide for sturgeon out in BC?
Oh yeah. He doesn't guide at this time of year, but I mean, just before getting on here with you guys, I was booking trips for him because I run the business side for him. So yeah, that's a very big part of our family is sturgeon fishing. Kevin's on the water almost every day from like July until November. So for whatever that is, 6 months. And so that affects us big time, because I'm working for the company, but also then Yale and Tiger get to sturgeon fish, right? Because that's part of our business. So they're avid little sturgeon fisher people for sure. And it's just, we live in the best spot for sturgeon fishing. So big part of our family.
Salmon too, and for salmon, and hunting, obviously I don't have to even go there, but there's a lot of great fishing out that way. Even the island fishing, so I'll tell you, I think that the chemistry, or when you're looking at everything that comes together, there's only one. It should be a perfect storm for a perfect show, in my personal opinion, and a great future. So I'm pretty excited for you. So far, what's been your best episode?
Of In Still the Catch, I have. Yeah. I mean, I have a few favorite ones, but I definitely love the first episode we did with Papa, also known as Wayne Izumi. Yeah. Because it showcases just how influential he has been, obviously in my life, but then what most people don't realize is in Yale's life. I'm sure Tiger too. He's not even 2 yet. But with Yale, he's so influential in her outdoors progression, because every time we're there, which they live, still in Ontario on the East Coast, literally every day he's taking her out fishing on the ponds and on the UTV and teaching her about different wildlife, which is where I'm talking about. It goes towards more of the hunting side of things. So I do love the Papa episode. There's a few Papa episodes, but the first one really touches my heart, especially. And then I just approved one that hasn't aired yet. It will air in March on the World Fishing Network in the US, and then on Global and Sportsman Channel in Canada. And this is one in Costa Rica. And Papa was there that day as well. Yale was there. And we did a very hardcore day of deep sea fishing, which you don't get to do often. Even us, we don't get to do that very often. And we were going for like mahi and maybe a tuna, but we ended up catching a marlin. So that's my new favorite episode, I think.
I like the family idea. I love it. I not just like it, I love it. I 100% love it. So the name Instill, where does that come from? How did that come? Like, am I allowed to ask that question?
Yeah, just it came from wanting to instill life lessons in the kids, and then we just put a play on words because we're catching fish, so we called it Instill the Catch.
Yeah, and you know what? That makes a lot of sense, and it's just like, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I know there's meaning behind this, and not because, but it's true. There's a lot of meaning, and people don't realize what fishing, the patience and life learning and how to be patient and how good things come to people that are patient.
Oh yeah, there's so much you learn from being on the water, right? And again, it doesn't matter what type of fishing you're doing, but if you spend a lot of time on the water, there's a lot of life things you're learning. As you said, patience, right? And kind of just overall grit and persistence, because some days fishing is not so hot, but you still typically stay out and you go the next day.
Don't quit.
You can't really quit, right? So that's a good life lesson to teach that you can apply through all things in life. And kind of that sense of adventure as well, trying new things and stepping outside of your comfort zone a little bit. That's what happens with us anglers, I find, and another thing that you can apply to real life.
So moving out to the West Coast, I know we're all over the place, and I'm sorry, but the things that come to mind, that must have been hard on your dad. I'm not going to sit there and say it wasn't, because I'm a dad, right? But for you, how was that for you? Do you love where you're living? I would love it. I just think it would be a little difficult, but I'd love to be there.
Oh yeah, I love living in BC. I mean, all the stereotypes hold true. It really is just like this big province of natural beauty. So when it comes to fishing, there's just no end to it, right? There's just so many different species you can go after, and just so many different settings, from tiny little rivers to big powerful rivers like the Fraser River, to lakes, to of course the Pacific Ocean, which we just went for winter Chinook recently on. So yeah, I mean, BC's incredible, especially if you're an outdoors person. There is a lot to offer. I don't think it was as hard on my dad as you think, because I've been traveling my whole life, way before I moved to BC, right? I went to school in England, I went to school in France. So like my parents got used to me being away well before I moved out here.
I didn't realize you went to Europe for education. So am I allowed to ask, what did you study while you're out there?
Yeah, well, I did my first year of university in England. So I was just studying everything, like every main subject. That first year. And then by the time I went to France, I was studying French studies. That's why I went to France.
So do you speak French?
Yeah, because my mom's from Quebec. So she's like a hardcore.
Sorry, I got to bang my head on that one.
Yeah.
I can't believe I asked you that question.
Yeah, so she put me in French school since I was a little kid. So yeah, I speak fluent French. I haven't had to use it in a long time, but if you toss me into, Quebec or France after a day or two, then I'm pretty good.
You're pretty good. You're really. Yeah. I didn't even think about that, but I didn't know you went overseas for education, which is actually incredible. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, but you're still daddy's little girl. No matter what, it's always going to hurt some way. No matter how you look at it. And he's looking. And your dad's always been he's been one of the hardest working guys here. Like, both your dad and your uncle, they worked really hard. Nothing came easy for those guys. I know that they worked for everything they earned. They worked hard for everything they've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody can ever say that that's not the case. I know there was a bit of an announcement there your uncle put out. I haven't read it yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I got the gist prior to it. But it's like, I don't think you ever retire, and I don't think that that's even a word in that. Like, I think it's just just a new chapter. I guess is probably the best way of saying it, right? And you're part of that new chapter, being an Izumi, and your daughter will be a legacy, or not a legacy, but she'll be a new chapter for you. You know what I mean? And your son. You know what I mean? So it'll just hopefully continue to go that way, and the hard work that's been put into it continues, and it continues maybe in a different form or a different way. But even all the years, like, watching your dad's and your uncle's shows, it just seemed like it was very heartfelt shows. Like, you laughed with your uncle when he laughed, right? It was that laugh. And now I'm expecting to smile when I see, Yale catch her fish. You know what I mean? I feel like I know that's what I'm going to do. Right. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
The Izumis we're very authentic people. We've never pretended to be something that we're not. And that shows through on things like the TV screen. So I think people are really going to miss Bob. Obviously, he shaped a huge part of people's childhoods and teenagehoods and all that good stuff, right? And I think that they, like they could trust him again because he's not trying. He was being himself. And I've really taken my dad's the same way. He's the same way, in business and in life. So I really took that with me, I think, without realizing as a life lesson. For example, I've just always been me. I've never tried to act like anybody else. And I think that resonates with people, especially nowadays, now that I'm saying it out loud. We were never doing anything, trying to portray ourselves as anything else. So it's pretty special. And Bob will definitely be missed. But as he said, he'll still be around. And as you said, that hustle that we all have, which you need to have in this industry, never goes away, right? So
I don't ever let it go away.
Yeah.
It's you know what, I'll tell you. I've been a great fan of your dad and your uncles for years. I used to compete against them. And so I watched all that stuff, and I watched you grow up. I watched Darren grow up. I unfortunately, your brother, though, I haven't seen a lot, and I didn't see Darren's sister either much. But like, the two of you have always been around the scene, at one point or another. So you know what, I'm only thinking high quality, because it's only ever been high quality, and I'm sure that's what's going to be produced on your end. Even the fly fishing show that you produced a few years back, we played that at the fishing show, and I'm telling you, the quality of that was absolutely incredible. And that what you're producing is going to only be better. But I'm just telling you, like, I was impressed, because I'm not a fly fishing guy at all. I'm not going to lie to you, but it captured me. I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is great production. And it's one thing when you're I think that when you are an actual person with the outdoors, or coming from a fishing family, it's not, it's not fake. It's real. It's the feelings real, watching it, and the enjoyment, and then you see it in the kids, and you see that being installed there. That makes it even better. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Yale develops, and how she starts thinking on her own and catching. Oh, I'm sure she already is, but I'm sure.
Oh yeah, she's catching fish on her own. Oh yeah, she's reached that level already, big time.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a few episodes that have already aired where she's catching her own bass, no problem. Like, I mean, she's baiting that hook, she's setting it, she's reeling it in. The only thing she wasn't doing was like lipping the bass, but she did every single thing. And I'm not just talking one time. There's this one episode we did up in Manitoulin Island in Northern Ontario, and I think she caught like 6 or 7 bass completely on her own with her little pink rod. So I'm telling you, she's going to be way more hardcore than me if she continues on this trajectory anyways.
Well, so what would you say her biggest fish is to date? The sturgeon?
Let me think about this. I think I would assume her biggest fish is a sturgeon, just because they get so big and she's done so much of it. You know, they get way bigger than bass. So I would assume her biggest one is a sturgeon. Yeah,
Unless you're catching a whale, I don't think you can catch fish bigger than the sturgeon. And
pretty hard.
I guess that's become your biggest fish in your career, I would think, right? But there's
Yeah.
bass lakes in BC. Now, do you ever go after the bass there in BC or?
So I still haven't gone bass fishing here. It's not part of the culture like it is out east.
Mhm.
But I've attempted many times to hook up with some people who do bass fish here, because I don't really want to like spread the secret, but apparently there is amazing bass fishing here.
Oh, really?
Especially if there's no pressure, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there must be. So it's definitely on my goal list is to get out bass fishing here. But I don't have the Waynes and the Bobs here that are bass fishing all the time, right? And because it's not part of the culture, there's just a few select people I have to find. So we were gonna go to Salt Spring Island, which is this gorgeous little island off the coast, and apparently the bass fishing's awesome there. So we'll be there soon.
So I get, you know what? I don't know how to say this, but like it just seems like you're living in paradise. I guess is the
Yep.
best way of saying it. And I'm sure there's a lot of corners of BC that are yet to be in kind of like checked out. But you also got stuff in Florida. You got your brother lives in Florida, so you never know. Might see a Florida show come out of this down the road.
Yeah, Florida's incredible for fishing. We all know that, right? I've fished so many times there. I mean, you cannot go. It's just like Costa Rica. You can't go wrong fishing in Florida. So next will be to bring Yale there. I think she'd love just slamming those bass in Florida. That'd be a good one.
So yeah, that'd be a good place. So do you see like Cuba in the mix? Do you see other states in the mix? Maybe East
Well,
Coast?
I mean, anywhere in the U.S. is good for fishing. Almost anywhere in the U.S., right? Because it's such a big part of their culture.
Yeah.
So certainly multiple states for sure. And back to Costa Rica because we have a home there, and that's where we are many months of the year. So it only makes sense. And because the fishing is so lit, it only makes sense to keep going back there for fishing. Obviously, locally, as you say, there's always going to be places here in BC that we haven't hit because there's just so much nature. And I mean, you're talking to me, so there's lots of parts of the world that I would love to hit. But if I had to get specific, actually, you know where I'd like to go? It's not totally foreign, but I still haven't been. Is northern Canada, like the Yukon,
Oh
just
wow.
because I haven't been there yet.
Well, and you're not far from the Yukon. Like you think you just
Not
go
too
directly
far.
north, right? So like,
Yeah.
actually we had Patrick on. I don't know if we've aired it yet, but we got a show kind of with Patrick, and he was up in Nunavut fishing Arctic char, right?
Yeah.
And like talking about northern destinations and stuff like that. And you know what? I don't even know. Like I can't remember. I'm sure your dad did do a northern destination, Bob.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I just don't remember. It's been a while back. And I wouldn't mind seeing a northern destination trip, like an event up there. So that'd be pretty cool. But like I said, there's so many places to travel and try to figure out where do you want to go, what do you want to do. I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed when it comes to saying, "Hey, you're an Izumi child." It doesn't matter how you look at it. So you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna disappoint anybody if that makes any sense. Like I think that would be a very hard thing to do.
Yeah. I'm not so concerned with disappointing people, Andy.
Yeah. Well,
I think you're more.
I know.
I think you're more of a people pleaser than I am. I mean,
No,
the
I know.
concept of the show, though, is not even. It's not. It doesn't matter where we are, right? In each episode, like that's really not the point. The point is.
Slag. Oh, I think somebody's calling you. Hold on 1 second. You got a perfect picture, so we know it's not that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can hear you perfect. Well, and you know what? I didn't want you to take that the wrong way, in the sense of that anybody's going to be disappointed. I'm just talking about the quality, because I know that I don't think you're going to disappoint anybody in not delivering a great show. And I know it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I think that I know it's going to be a great show, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking really, really forward to seeing. Now, have you finished this whole season or not yet? Oh, I'm losing it. I think you got us on mute, hon. Mariko, I think we're on mute. Push your mute call. Are you good? No, no, can't hear you. I think you got us on mute. Your mic might not be. No, now it's off. No, can't hear you. You want to try just hanging up and calling us right back? Can you hear me? You can hear me all right? No, can't really hear you. No. Okay, hang up and call back in. All right, we're gonna go to commercial. We'll come right back. All right, so we're just gonna go to a quick commercial, and we'll be right back. We're going to commercial, Victoria. All right, we're gonna go a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Days off are best with sandy feet and smiles as bright as the sun. Those are the good days, when life slows down, and your only job is making memories that nourish your soul. Mercury engines are made for exploring. So are you. Go boldly.
Okay, are you good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You know what I think happened?
We don't know.
I got like 3 phone calls for some reason all at once. And I think my phone kicked me out.
You're all good. Don't worry. You're back in again now.
So no, all I was saying is the real point of the show is to showcase like family fishing together, right? So it doesn't matter where we are in any individual episode. It's more about showcasing what is it like to bring your little kids out at 4 a.m, or when it's cold weather, or when it's really hot weather, things like that. So I think, we ultimately travel in an adventure, but I think the main hook here is just like getting out there and really doing it, but with your kids in tow.
Yeah, and I think that's really a lot said there, because I've had to wake up my girls at 3 o'clock every weekend morning for work. That is, and actually yours is work too. At the end of the day, yours is technically work, but it's still family adventure. So it's something to be said. Like that's a lot of parents or dads might feel like, not in a way, but like might feel like, I don't want to wake my kids up too early to go fishing because but sometimes you miss that aggressive bite in the morning, and you know what? What's that worth to you? Like like that. And do you want to wake up that like extra half an hour early, or pack them up in the car while they're still sleeping? So are they sleeping when you bring them out of the house and put them into their seats? Right? Yeah. We've been here.
Yeah. Yale again. Well, I'll just keep saying that she is a hardcore little angler. So now it's gotten to the point where I prep her the night before and say, okay, we got to wake up really extra early tomorrow morning, And so when
No, you're too popular of a person. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we're there. Can you hear us? Can you hear me okay?
No.
We can hear you okay.
Okay.
No, something happened. She'll come back. Hey, play that little episode at the beginning. I kind of like, in case anybody missed it, they might want to watch it.
There are 2 things that have remained consistent since I was in diapers: fishing and being on camera.
Today I got my niece Mariko.
I shared the screen with my uncle, my mom, and my dad.
A year ago.
In 2008, I launched my own fishing show called Hookin' Up. This was a journey that reignited my own passion for the world that I was brought into. Now it's time to pass down all the life lessons and share this world of fishing with the next generation. As a mom.
All right, and I think she's about to come back in here in a second. But I watched that video and I actually seen Bob there, and I'm thinking, Funny, I know Bob pretty good. He doesn't look that tall in real life. I'm thinking, oh, I've forgotten Rico's just a little girl back there in that picture shot. But I don't know. Is she coming on, Victoria? All right, so she's trying to get back in, and just unfortunately, this is the whole thing. And the reason behind what we're doing here is because like we really felt it was important that we get in touch with some of the anglers and what they're all about, what their story is, what their goals are, what it's all about. So we have Mariko coming back in now. Here we go. You're back. Is that
Yeah,
good?
sorry. Every time I get a phone call, it's kicking me out.
Well, there you go. Because you know what? People are probably watching this live and they're probably calling you saying, hi. You look great. You know? So, you know what, Mariko? I just finished saying I watched that video again, the opening for your show, and it's a very 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 clean opening. I like it a lot, and
Thank you.
it brings in like three generations of Izumis. You know, when you think about that, and
Yep.
it's pretty awesome, right? And hopefully every generation gets to be more and more involved in the outdoors. And you know, I've been a part of all your upgrowing, watching you upgrow, whether it was through an Izumi fundraiser or whether it was at a tournament site. So we've seen that happen, and now you're doing that with your kid. You know, your kids. Sorry, but you know, between Tiger and between Yale, they're getting a part of that taste, and then hopefully, you know what, they stick to it, and hopefully they keep going. And you know, maybe there'll be a day when your daughter's gonna be saying, "Mom, this is my next show with what I want to do." Right? So you never know. That's gonna,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, my goal is really, she'll do whatever she wants to do in terms of career, but if she and you know what? I can't even, you're a dad, you know this. I can't like guide her towards what she's going to love in life, but as long as she pulls, like I say, these life lessons that she is being taught on the water and in nature and brings them into her real life. So for example, grit and persistence and confidence, I'll be a happy mom. So that's the goal, is to show her through fishing, all of these things. And it'd be awesome if she continues with fishing. And I honestly think she will. And I think she's going to take it next level for me. But the main goal here is that Tiger and Yale learn all of these things through fishing. And I think it's just such a good sport for kids to do that.
Well, you know what, Mariko, it's been an honor to have you on our show, and I had a pleasure that we've had the chance. We wanted to hear the reasons why you do this, and you've showed that. You showed the reasons. It's 100 times you said it over. It's about your kids. It's about
Yeah.
them, and it's pretty cool that that you're taking that and you gained that. And I hope you get all the support you can get with this. And as somebody in the industry, I can assure you, I'll do everything in my power to support you. And I hope we're going to see you at the spring fish. I want you and your whole family there next year at the spring fishing show. I think that'll be kind of cool.
Definitely.
It's not like you
Yeah.
haven't been there in the past. You know what I mean? So
No, I had even planned a concert around this weekend so that I could attend the show. But then my concert got canceled for obvious reasons, and then yours did too. So I definitely plan on, when it's open again, we'll be there as always.
it's just, you know what? It's just we had to make a decision based on availability of product to people, right? And who, what kind of quality of show we could produce. And I think one thing we have in common is if we can't produce what we need to produce, then we will wait till we can. And that's what
Yep.
we don't want to disappoint people coming. And at the same time, we want to make sure that, sometimes it's things that are beyond our control. But I'm sure that come 2023, everything will be rocking and rolling. And you know what? You might be giving me a reason to come out to the West Coast, and you never know.
Oh yeah, you should come sturgeon fishing, Andy.
Maybe I know. I think I should do that. Like, how booked up are you guys?
Oh, we're pretty booked up, but you got my
It's always
personal
good.
numbers, so we can figure it out.
Hey, and not to give a plug to Kevin, but I think we have to give him a plug. Where can people look him up if they do want to get out there for a sturgeon fish?
He's Sturgeon Slayers.
Yeah.
So you can't miss him. Just Google him up, and we're online, and obviously on Instagram, and he's got a big TikTok following, so he's all over the place.
How far are you from the airport? How far are you guys from the airport?
From the Vancouver airport, we're like an hour and a half, but
That's not bad.
I mean, if you're within Canada, you just fly into Abbotsford, and then it's super easy to get to us. And Abbotsford's a real dream to fly into because it's just a small, easy airport.
Yeah.
So there's lots of options.
Oh, well, you know what? That might make it a lot easier and more of an excuse, not giving me an excuse not to come. So, you know what? I'm looking so forward to seeing the kids and you again, obviously. And I want to thank you very much for tuning in. I know we had some technical difficulties there, but we got through them.
Sorry,
and
guys.
Thank you very much. That was Mariko Izumi, and as beautiful as always. I'll tell you, I've grown up watching the kids grow up to that level, and I'm hoping I can watch her kids grow up and take over that next level as well too. And we want to wish also Bob, like obviously not retired, just changing pace and just kind of re-looking at things. And I'll tell you, a personal friend of mine, I wish him all the best of luck. But right now it's about Mariko, and I wish her all the best of luck with her kids and Still the Catch. So remember that you want to make sure you tune in and watch and Still the Catch, and let's support Canadian homegrown stuff. So thank you very much for tuning in. We have so much happening this weekend, so stay tuned, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
The best days happen out here, where the only thing on the line is what you can catch. And every cast could be the one that fills your memories with the fish of your lifetime. Mercury engines are made for exploring. So are you. Go boldly.